The Physics of Desperation. There is a terrifying paradox woven into the very quantum fabric of human existence. It is a silent riddle, a glitch in the code of reality that most people will live, suffer, and die without ever solving. It is the cruelest joke of the universe. The tighter you clench your fist around the things you desire most: love, respect, financial peace, control over your future, the faster they disintegrate. They slip through your fingers like dry, fine sand, leaving you with nothing but the memory of what you tried to imprison. Look at your life. Look at the chaos that currently vibrates in your nervous system. We are conditioned from birth by a loud, aggressive, hyper-capitalist society that screams a singular, bloody instruction: conquer, seize, force. We are told that destiny is something you choke into submission. We are told that if we worry enough, if we stress enough, if we manipulate the variables enough, we will be safe. But this is a lie. The anxiety that tightens the intercostal muscles of your chest, the racing thoughts that loop endlessly at 3 a.m. like a corrupted hard drive, the bone, deep exhaustion of managing the fragility of other people's moods. This is not caused by the events happening to you. It is caused by the ferocity with which you are holding onto them. You are trying to carry the ocean in a paper cup. The ancient masters, the alchemists of the high Himalayas and the silent stone monasteries of the East understood a completely different law of physics. They knew that to truly possess your life, you must be willing to incinerate your need to control it. Imagine a state of consciousness where your mind becomes like a polished diamond mirror. A mirror reflects a raging fire, but it does not burn. It reflects a block of ice, but it does not shiver. It reflects a sharp blade, but does not bleed. It remains pristine, untouched, and perfectly clear. This is not a poetic fantasy. This is the Vajrayana, the diamond vehicle. This is the ancient surgical practice of detachment. In the secret traditions, the mind is not a container to be filled with trash. It is a luminous, open sky. Clouds drift through this sky, massive thunderstorms of rage, thick, suffocating fogs of depression, fleeting rays of euphoria. But the sky is never stained by the clouds. The sky does not grab the storm, nor does it push the sunlight away. It simply allows. It is the backdrop of all things, yet it is touched by nothing. Today, we are going to perform a precise spiritual surgery on your ego. We are going to walk through 7 layers of alchemical transformation that will teach you how to detach. Not to become a cold, unfeeling stone, but to become dangerously, beautifully free. The anatomy of sovereignty. We must begin by shattering a pervasive and dangerous myth. When the modern world hears the word detachment, it conjures an image of a person who has turned into stone. We imagine someone cold, indifferent, apathetic, a zombie who has abandoned their responsibilities and severed their connection to the human heart. This is a profound misunderstanding. That is not the detachment, that is dissociation. That is a trauma response. That is merely running away from life because it is too heavy to carry. True detachment is not the absence of emotion it is the absolute mastery of it. It is the capacity to feel deeply, to love fiercely, and to engage with the reality of the world fully, without being enslaved by the outcome of your actions. Think of a master trauma surgeon in the emergency room. A patient lies on the table, chest open, life hanging by a single, fragile thread. Monitors are screaming. Blood is flowing. If the surgeon begins to panic, if they start weeping over the tragedy, if their hands shake with the emotional weight of the moment, the patient dies. To save the life, the surgeon must care immensely, yet remain perfectly cool, perfectly detached from the hysteria of the blood and the noise. Their detachment is not indifference, it is an act of supreme love. It is the only way they can function. At its core, detachment is the realization that your internal chemistry is your responsibility alone. It is the dawn of sovereignty. It is the understanding that while you cannot control the wind, you have absolute authority over the sails. Most people are thermometers. A thermometer is a pathetic device. It has no will of its own. If the room is hot, it goes up. If the room is cold, it goes down. It is a slave to its environment. Every time you allow a rude comment from a stranger to ruin your afternoon, every time you allow a traffic jam to spike your cortisol and poison your blood, you are acting like a thermometer. You are handing the remote control of your consciousness to a lifeless event. You are bowing down to the world and saying, "Here, you have the power to disturb my peace." To detach is to shift from being a thermometer to being a thermostat. A thermostat detects the temperature, but it does not react, it regulates. It sets the standard. If the world is chaotic, you do not become chaos, you bring the calm. You engage with reality, but you do not let reality colonize your mind. The art of the witness. Most human beings function energetically like sponges. They walk through the dense atmosphere of the world, absorbing the vibrational debris of everyone they meet. If their partner is angry, they instantly become angry. If the news is fearful, they contract in fear. They have no membrane, no psychological skin to protect their spirit. This is a recipe for spiritual exhaustion and burnout. The second lesson is to learn the art of the witness. In the ancient Sanskrit texts, this is called Sakshi Bhav, witness consciousness. It is the practice of observing the event without swallowing the poison. Imagine you are standing on the high bank of a rushing, muddy river. The water is violent, filled with debris, broken branches, old trash, churning mud. This river represents the stream of thoughts, judgments, and neuroses of other people. The average person sees the river and jumps in. They try to catch the branches. They fight the current. They drown in the mud of other people's drama. The detached master stands on the bank. They see the mud. They acknowledge the trash. They understand the force of the current, but they remain dry. The Buddha spoke of the two arrows. When life strikes you with pain and insult, a loss, a failure, that is the first arrow. It is physical, it is immediate, and it is inevitable. Physics dictates that sound waves hit your ear. You cannot stop the first arrow. But the second arrow is your reaction. It is the story you tell yourself about the insult. It is the replay of the moment in your mind for days. It is the resentment, the self-pity, the victimization. The first arrow might scratch you, but the second arrow is the one that infects the wound and kills you. Detachment is the art of dodging the second arrow. You must learn to create a sacred pause, a micro-second of space between the stimulus and your response. In that tiny gap lies your entire freedom. You look at the anger of another person, and instead of absorbing it into your own heart, you analyze it like a scientist looking at a bacteria under a microscope. You say, this person is in pain. This is their storm. It is raining in their world. But I do not have to get wet. By observing without absorbing, you become immune to emotional contagion. You become a sanctuary of calm in a world of noise, fasting from validation. There is a golden chain that binds nearly every person on earth, invisible but heavier than iron. It is the desperate, starving need for approval. From the time we are children, we are conditioned to perform like circus animals for a treat, a smile from a parent, a grade from a teacher, a like on a digital screen. We construct an entire false self, a social avatar, designed solely to please the audience. We manicure our lives to be digestible for others. As long as you need them to clap, you are their slave. If your self-worth rises when they praise you, it will inevitably crash into the basement when they criticize you. You are building your house on the shifting sands of other people's opinions, and people are fickle. Their opinions are not based on your truth. They are based on their own digestion, their own traumas, their own unhealed insecurities. To detach from approval is to realize that you are the actor, the director, and the audience of your own life. When you look in the mirror at the end of the day, does the reflection respect you? That is the only metric that matters. This lesson requires you to undergo a fasting from validation. You must stop drinking the salt water of praise, which only makes you thirstier. When you feel the burning urge to explain yourself, to defend your choices, to soften your truth so it is more palatable to the crowd, stop. Sit with the discomfort of being misunderstood. Let people be wrong about you. Let them create a villain version of you in their minds. There is a tremendous, silent power in being misunderstood and having zero desire to correct the chord. When you release the need to be liked, you gain the power to be true. You stop being a reflection of what the world wants and start being a projection of who you are. This is not arrogance, it is sovereignty. It is reclaiming the energy you wasted trying to manage your reputation. Amor, Fati, and the Archers release. We suffer because we argue with reality. We have a blueprint in our minds of how the world should be. My partner should be more attentive. The traffic should be moving. The economy should be fair. When reality clashes with this mental fantasy, we feel pain. We spend enormous amounts of vital energy trying to hammer the square peg of reality into the round hole of our expectations. Lesson 4 is the practice of Amor, Fati, the love of fate. It is the radical acceptance of the present moment exactly as it is, not as you wish it to be. This does not mean you are passive. It does not mean you do not strive for change or justice. It means you stop wasting energy fighting the inevitable. Think of the master archer in the art of Kyudo. You control the training, the quality of the bow, the focus of your eye, the tension of the string, and the precise moment of release. But the second the arrow leaves the string, you control nothing. A sudden gust of wind might take it. The target might move. To agonize over the arrow once it is in flight is madness. Most of our anxiety comes from trying to control the arrow after it has left the bow. We try to control outcomes, the future, the thoughts of others. Detachment teaches us to focus with laser intensity on the process, the aiming, the drawing, the release, and to surrender the outcome completely to the universe. When you accept what you cannot control, You reclaim the energy that was being hemorrhaged in worry. You become efficient. You look at a problem. You see the variables you can change. You attack them with precision, and you ignore the rest. You flow with the river of the Tao, rather than swimming upstream until you drown, cultivating the 0 point. You cannot practice detachment if your mind is a chaotic storm of noise and distraction. You need a foundation, a 0 point of stillness to return to. In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, silence is an act of rebellion. Inner stillness is not just the absence of noise, it is a presence of power. It is the eye of the hurricane. The winds may be tearing the roof off the house, blowing at 200 miles per hour, destroying everything in their path. But in the center, there is a column of absolute peace. You must build this center within yourself. This requires the discipline of daily withdrawal. You must carve out time to unplug from the matrix of information. No phones, no voices, no inputs, no podcasts. Just you and the raw sensation of existence. In this stillness, you begin to see the mechanism of your own mind. You watch thoughts arise like bubbles in a carbonated drink, and you watch them dissolve. You realize you are not the bubble, you are the liquid. You are not the thoughts, you are the awareness in which they appear. This practice cultivates a gap between you and your neurosis. The next time a crisis hits, you will not react from the chaotic surface of your mind. You will respond from the deep, still water of your core. This stillness is the anchor that keeps the ship from capsizing when the emotional waves hit. It is the reservoir of your power. Without it, detachment is just an intellectual concept. With it, detachment becomes a biological reality. We are all trapped, but we are not trapped by the world. We are trapped by our refusal to let go of it. There is an old method used to catch monkeys in the jungles of the East. Hunter puts a sweet, fragrant fruit inside a jar with a narrow neck. The monkey smells the fruit, reaches in and grabs it. But with its hand made into a fist around the fruit, it cannot pull its hand back out. The hunter approaches with a net. The monkey screams, it panics, it chatters in terror, but it will not open its fist. It values the fruit more than its freedom. It is captured not by the jar, but by its own attachment. We are the monkey. The fruit represents our toxic relationships, our harmful habits, our need to be right, our clinging to the past versions of ourselves. We hold on to things that burn us, thinking that if we let go, we will lose ourselves. But the opposite is true. You must audit your life for these golden chains. Some attachments look beautiful, they are comfortable, familiar, safe. But if they are draining your spirit, if they are keeping you small, if they anchor you to a lower vibration, they are cages disguised as jewelry. Letting go is a visceral experience. It feels like a death because it is. It is the death of an identity that was wrapped around that attachment. But you must realize that nothing in this world is yours. You are a tourist here. You cannot keep the hotel room. You cannot keep the sunset. You cannot even keep this body forever. When you understand impermanence, the law of Anicca, that everything is rising and fading, appearing and disappearing, you stop trying to freeze time. You enjoy the flower while it blooms, and you let it go when it wilts. This fluidity is the essence of freedom. You travel light. You are ready to move at a moment's notice. You are unburdened. Finally, we arrive at the truth that changes everything. Detachment is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength in the human repertoire. Consider the warrior. A warrior who is consumed by rage is sloppy. They make mistakes. They leave openings. They overcommit. A warrior who is paralyzed by fear is useless as they freeze. But the warrior who is detached, who has accepted death, who has no fear of the outcome, whose mind is clear like a polished mirror, is invincible. This is the state of mushin, or no mind, sought by the samurai. When you are detached, you cannot be manipulated. People cannot use guilt, fear, or greed to control you, because you do not crave what they have to offer. You are self-sourced. You become dangerous to the systems that rely on your compliance and your fear. This strength manifests as a terrifying calmness. While others are losing their minds in a crisis, running around like headless chickens, you are standing still, assessing, planning, and executing. You become the rock that others cling to. You become the leader not because you sought power, but because you are the only one who has not lost their head. Detachment allows you to walk through the fire without smelling of smoke. It allows you to love without possession, to work without stress, to live without fear. It is the reclaiming of your divine sovereignty. So, the invitation is this: open your fist. Drop the fruit. Pull your hand out of the jar. The freedom you have been searching for in the world has been waiting for you in the letting go. The cage door is open. It has always been open.